Hello, this is Robert from Beyond20. Today we're upgrading Cherwell from version 4.6 to 5, specifically the 5.11 branch. And this process should take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes depending on the speed of your server and the size of the Cherwell database. Although this process itself is rather short, you'll still want to do regression testing on your system and make sure that proper backups are in place. If you don't have a process in place for testing, please reach out to us at Beyond20.com, as that is something that we can assist with. One of the many great features of Cherwell is the fact that upgrades will not affect your current functionality nor data. However, we still want to make sure there is proper testing in place. So before we get started, we want to copy the Cherwell 5.11 folder or disk image to the server desktop so we can proceed with installation and take a look at the release notes. So go ahead and open up the PDF and see if there's anything noteworthy in the release notes. That's going to be under the update considerations. And so you just want to do a quick read through and make sure there's nothing that we have to be aware of. And this will be just basically dependent on your system and implementation of Cherwell. And for today's demo, there's nothing that we need to be aware of in the release notes, so we'll go ahead and close that. When you do have a moment, it would be a good idea to take a look at the different fixes that have been in place. Those are also specified in the release notes. These includes all the requests, enhancements, and features that have been added. And then in version 5, one of the big additions was the record locking, and so Cherwell's release notes go into quite a bit of details on that. We do have another video on the record locking. If you take a look at our YouTube channel, we kind of walk through that process as well. But now let's go ahead and get back to the actual upgrade to 5. So before we're proceeding with the upgrade, we need to make sure that we have a Cherwell password that has rights to upgrade. So usually the CSD admin account. The other information that's necessary is if there's any specific logon accounts necessary to run any of the Cherwell applications. So if we open up the services and go to any of the Cherwell services, such as the business process server, go to the properties, we want to take a look at the logon tab. Let's make sure that this is set either to the local system account, or if it's a specific account, that we know what this password is in case we have to enter this later. And so one of the biggest things we need to do before we get started is actually take a czar backup of the current system. So let's go ahead and open the orange planet and log in. And then under database, we go to export data. We're going to export the entire system and all data. We also want to make sure we're exporting attachments, so we do not want to check that box. And then let's save this. And depending on how much data you have in here, this demo database I think is only around 20 megabytes, so it's a quick export for us for today. But you do want to plan on this maybe taking anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes depending on the size of the data. Okay, now that that export has been successful, we want to make sure that we close out of any Cherwell instances. Any of the orange planets or blue planets that we have open, we'll need to close out of those in order to continue with the installation. And so the executable to begin the install is going to be under the disk folder and the Cherwell Service Management installation. Pretty straightforward so far. So we're going to go ahead and select the server option here. This is going to install both the client and server applications. However, it does not install the portal and browser applications. That is one that we'll do after the server is successfully installed. Let's go ahead and click on server. ahead and click next. And you can keep the defaults here usually during the installation. If you need to change the folder that Cherwell is installed at, you could do so here. And this is one that you want to double check that we're either going to be installing the Cherwell demo database for 5.11 or are we going to be upgrading the existing database. And in this case, we want to upgrade the existing database that we're using, which is 4.6. And there are also ZARs that are in the Cherwell disk image that allows you to import a new demo database or a starter database. So you can go ahead and do that once the installation is all done. However, this box here is going to let us know that the current database, the Cherwell demo, is going to be upgraded to version 5.11 from 4.6. So we'll check that box and click next. We also want to make sure that all of these checkboxes are selected. And you remember earlier before we started, we jotted down the logon username for the service account. This is under the services.msc for the Cherwell business process application. If you have a specific username that's going to be running Cherwell, you'll want to go ahead and set this in here. And in this case, on this specific virtual machine that we're running, it's just going to be the local system account that has all the access. So if the logon was blank, then the local system account is sufficient in here. So this next process can take a few minutes depending on the speed of the server, and then it'll also prompt us to upgrade the existing database here as well, and that'll take another few minutes. You'll see now that the icons on the desktop have been replaced. And then if you look on the bottom of the taskbar, you'll see that the Cherwell icons that we had pinned to the taskbar down there no longer appear, so we'll go ahead and have to repin those. That's the orange planet and blue planet. And now it's prompting us for the database that we want to upgrade. So we'll go ahead and select the Cherwell demo database on this virtual machine. And it's confirming that we're upgrading it to 5.11. Go ahead, click OK, and log in to the database. Now, during this upgrade process, the Cherwell is automatically going to be locked, so no other users can get in there and affect anything. If there's any incoming emails waiting to be processed, they will continue to sit in the queue, and then once Cherwell is back up online, it'll start processing those emails through the email listener. We'll go ahead and click Finish now that the applications have been installed and the database has been upgraded. However, the portal and browser applications are yet to be installed to 5.11. Let's go ahead and proceed with that here by clicking Portal and Browser Apps. And on this screen here, we want to make sure that we check that last box, the Cherwell Web Forms. So everything on here should be checked, and we just click on Next. And we're not going to update auto deploy just yet. We're going to show you how to do that at the end of this process. And it looks like it's just about wrapping up right now. And once it's done, go ahead and click on Finish. And we can close out of the installation screen. And for the auto deploy, if you go under your Cherwell Service Management applications under Tools, there is Configure Auto Deploy here. So this configuration will just depend on your local setup of Cherwell. If you're going to be installing both the admin and client, the orange planet and the blue planet, you'd want to go ahead and check one of these. Otherwise, you let the users choose. It's really just going to depend on your environment and how you're running Cherwell. But you want to go ahead and reconfigure the auto deploy and make sure that this is set for the settings that you need to implement. So once the installation is done and the database has actually been fully upgraded, we want to go log into Cherwell and just create a quick blueprint. The reason behind this is that we want to make sure that there are not any errors. So just a quick blueprint will give us an idea if there's anything that might have happened during the upgrade process. And every once in a while, you might see one or two minor things, and that'll be pretty much visible as soon as you try to apply a new blueprint. So let's go ahead and cancel the auto deploy. We don't need to set that up, but launch the orange planet. We want to make sure that we can log in. There are a few minor issues in the 5.11 upgrade. There are a few one-steps that didn't make it into the actual upgrade itself, but they're now referenced in version 5. So if you're going from 4.6 directly to 5.11, you'll have to go in and remove those, and the blueprint scan will show that pretty much immediately. One of the other weird issues that came up is that the word wrapping is now disabled in some of the dashboards, and so you might have to go in and manually update the widgets to re-enable word wrapping. One of the great things with Cherwell is that it's actually pretty quick to address these types of issues. So by the time you watch this video, most of this stuff's already going to be resolved. But those are just a few things that we found when doing upgrades for some of our clients. So let's go ahead and make a quick blueprint. I prefer to just edit the incident form by moving one of the objects around here. So I'll just move that a few pixels and then scan the blueprint. So this will tell us if there's anything left over. We should see the 3 one-steps that were missing from the 5 upgrade. These are new items that were added into 5, but the one-steps didn't make it into the release. So we just need to go in and remove those. So if you do the blueprint scan, you can highlight the one that we want to remove, go to Air, and just remove this from here. So there are 2 more to take care of. Great, so now the blueprint successfully scanned, so we should be able to publish this. We do want to make sure that we publish rather than just scan the blueprint. And now that that was successful, we want to open up the blue pill, make sure that we can log in as well. And it looks like all of our original tickets are all in here still, so that's great. And the last step that we prefer to do is actually just manually restart the entire server rather than just the specific services of Cherwell. We want to restart the server, make sure that all of the services automatically start up again. And I'm not going to demo that today in this video. That'll just be dependent on your environment and if you're running any load balance servers and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. So this is a full upgrade of Cherwell from version 4.6 to 5.11. For any flavor of 5, it's going to pretty much be about the same process. As you can see that this one was done in pretty much under 20 minutes, and that includes all the backups that we took and the verification. And this is just on a pretty slow virtual machine as well. So the upgrade process in general tends to go pretty smoothly with Cherwell. One thing is just to make sure that we do that final blueprint publish to make sure that nothing that didn't make it in the system doesn't provide an error. So we do want to make sure that last step is taken. So thanks for watching, and this was Robert with Beyond20. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for other tips and tricks. And if you run into any issues on upgrading to version 5, please feel free to reach out to us at beyond20.com. Thank you.